LeBron James. Do we have? Yeah, let's play the clip. LeBron James says the Lakers aren't a championship caliber team. Duh. Let's play the clip.
LeBron, they're the best team in the league, and they're a good measuring stick when you play them. Where are you seeing the gaps between like where they're at and the things they do well consistently versus like kind of the build that you guys are trying to put together?
You want me to compare us to them?
No, I want to know where you think though that like sort of as this team is on its like.
That's a championship team right there. We're not. So I don't understand.
What are the biggest things you think that are keeping this team as right now?
We can't sustain energy and effort for 48 minutes, and they can. That's why they won a championship.
Scap, your reaction to that?
Well, look, he's not saying anything that's untrue, but I feel like it's coming at a really odd time. It's a game where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander didn't play for Oklahoma City, fine. But basically their entire roster did play other than SGA. The Lakers were without Luka Doncic, meanwhile. So that essentially balanced the absence of SGA off. And the Lakers, I still thought they were going to get absolutely rolled in that game. They were up by 1 halfway through the fourth quarter. It was a 3-point game with a minute and a half left in the game. So that's a game that was highly competitive, that through stretches, I watched the whole game. Through stretches, I thought like the Lakers were going to win that game or maybe even run away with it. They started the third quarter on like a 26-10 run when they came out of the locker room. So it's just a bizarre moment to make that claim and to kind of look a little pouty in that post-game press conference. I don't know. The guy, look, he's just a terrible leader, ultimately. The guy who's praised, like, essentially throughout his entire career for his great leadership, his great floor rising, and his great basketball IQ and acumen. Like, he's just an awful leader. I mean, maybe he could have said, hey, I was 2 of 6 in that fourth quarter because he said we didn't make our shots down the stretch. We had great looks from 3. We didn't make them. No, you, LeBron, you were 2 of 6 in the fourth quarter. You were 0 of 2 from the 3-point line, 0 of 2 from the free throw line. Like maybe some accountability. I mean, the Nuggets took one on the chin last night. Dreadful loss. One of the worst losses I've seen it in weeks. And it seems like the Nuggets do that at least once a month. And Jokic in his post-game press conference was, we hate the loss. We hate losing in general, but like we can build off of it. We're learning things. Like we can take this and learn from it. Like what great marquee all-time players do you guys know of that sits up and says, well, let's phone it in on this season. We can't compete with any of these upper echelon teams. Why am I even playing out here right now? Like I guess I could strain myself to stat pad my box scores, but other than that, don't expect too much, guys, because we're not a championship team. It's just odd messaging from him.
Steve?
Like I said, Scat will not be at LeBron's last game. That would have been funny, Jason. We talk about this guy a lot. If TJ Simers was the reporter, I can just imagine. So you're saying that that the team is old and slow and has too many defensive liabilities. Like, get into that, LeBron. So you're saying the team needs to get younger. Like, who are you really pointing at? Do you think there's nepotism on this team? A lot of what LeBron said is true. I don't think anyone was expecting a victory championship parade down Figueroa this year. The Lakers are what they are. But to what Scap said, it almost seems like he's saying, I'm just here doing a job. I'm not part of the problem. Everyone else failed me. The organization failed me. Let's just get through this. That's what it seemed like. And a lot of that is true. I still believe the greatest gift the Lakers can give themselves and LeBron is to find a suitable trade partner and let's go on separately with the rest of our lives.
Do you think LeBron plays next year, Steve?
Yes.
Scap?
Yeah, he's given no indication this is his last year, right, Scap? Anything like that?
I mean, there's been some cryptic messaging, but that's just LeBron, like, trying to, get as much attention on him as possible. He's got that stupid little patch thing that he's wearing on his jersey. But I think, look, if I were a betting man, I would put lots of money on the fact that LeBron James is going to play next season. I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that he will, and it definitely will not be with the LA Lakers. But Steve, a trade, no way. I mean, the trade deadline's passed 5 days ago. So LeBron, it is what it is. Like, this is the team moving forward through the playoffs.
The girlfriend, she went to a North Carolina basketball game with a T-shirt mocking Robert Kraft, referencing the massage parlor where Robert Kraft had got a happy ending. Steve, should Bill Belichick have objected here, or is he letting Jordan Hudson make it very clear that he blames Robert Kraft for not getting into the Hall of Fame?
Well, I think that much is clear. That's an endorsement of it. But come on, guys. You think he has any say over what Jordan does? I think it's been clear he hasn't been in charge of that from the very beginning. I think it's going to be interesting next year. Let's say there was that 1-year penance both Belichick and Kraft have to pay. There is still the possibility. So the 1-year penalty box is over, right? They still might get in next year together. That is going to be a fascinating story if you care about this type of stuff.
Yeah, I do think having what they just experienced, I bet Bob Kraft is trying to make peace at this point. Seriously, don't you? I don't think this has worked out well for Bob Kraft.
Well, one thing about Jordan, she's bringing out a side, not that Belichick was involved, but do I believe that she would have worn that shirt if Belichick would have said, honey, maybe not now? There's no doubt about it. Belichick is a historian. I believe it was important for him to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He does care about that stuff. Him getting snubbed and not becoming a first ballot Hall of Fame coach actually does really rip at him a little bit. And this is his way of saying, look, I'm taking notes. I know who did this. It is duly noted.
Scap, you're married. You got any sympathy here for Belichick? Should he control his sugar baby a little better than this?
Well, I have no control or voice in any way, shape, or form over my wife, so I guess I can sympathize with Billy on that regard. But this is just a kind of a bad look. There are other ways that they could have taken a shot, I feel like, at Kraft, rather than a shirt alluding to or referencing to the massage parlor. Because, guys, isn't it? I mean, we can all agree.
If you're going to take a shot, you might as well take one that lands, Scap.
But I'm saying, Belichick is paying for what's going on in the little relationship he has with Jordan as well. He's just making a longer term investment and getting more like punch for his dollar, I suppose. But look, I don't think that's a virtuous relationship. We can all agree on that, right?
I tend to agree with you, but I think Steve has a different take. Steve, I think, endorses
No, I don't endorse it, but one thing about Belichick, he was never afraid to go to a youth movement. I mean, look, I'll say this. Just because something is legal doesn't necessarily make it right. And what I said throughout this whole process, this saga, is that I find that the greatest irony is that the coach who stressed no distractions, at least for the first year at UNC, became the biggest distraction of any coach in college football by a good amount.
Scap, did you want to finish your thoughts?
Yeah, I just want to clarify one thing. To the best of my knowledge, this wasn't Kraft's first crack at getting in. Is that right?
No, it was not his first crack. No.
Right. So
maybe his 13th or 12th or something.
Right. So I don't think necessarily. Look, I think Belichick does get in after the 1 year slap on the wrist. But there is nothing that would indicate, in my estimation, that Kraft is going to get in next year, particularly if they do put Belichick in. I don't think that the voters will want to send both of them in the same year. So unfortunately, that would be a great storyline, but I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I actually do think Kraft is going to go in because I think his resume is the equal, if not better, than Bill Belichick's. And so, just as an owner, how can you get a better resume than, they just, wasn't that their 11th, 12th Super Bowl they just qualified for under Bob Kraft? So, I think Kraft goes in and I think Belichick goes in. What my fear is that they're once again, Tony Dungy's going to win out here, that their solution is going to be just let everybody in. Because that was all Tony Dungy's crying about is like, man, we need all this person and that person and L.C. Greenwood and this person, Ken Anderson. They're all Hall of Famers. And so their solution is never, hey, let's make the tough decision. Let's keep some people out. Their solution is always, let's just let more people in. And I'll say this respectfully. It's just like when you're a one Super Bowl win coach that's in the Hall of Fame, you want more people in. You want people that borderline Hall of Famers. You want more of them in because that upper room, Dion and these guys looking down on you. You want more people on your side.